prime time on the top game, it's a fine line. Man in the match, that's Daveye, he's the main guy, keep a close eye. Make sure you don't make no wrong play, cause I'm with Jose and Andre. When Cyrus comes to walk in, you better know that you are watching Premier League. Daveye, tell them what time we on. Prime time. Let me hear you say it. Premier League. Daveye, tell them what time we on. Prime time.
Hello and welcome to Premier League Prime Time. We are here after the Brentford Tottenham match by a scoreline of 2-2, and I am here with a very, very good friend of mine who I've not seen in quite a while, Mr. Grant Pierce. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm well, Davis. I'm well. It's good to see you. It's been a minute, like you said, but yeah.
It has been quite a long time. For those who don't know who Grant Pierce is, my boy is he is a Tottenham fan at heart, and he is a very good friend of mine. Have not seen this man for a minute. It's very good to see him. But of course, let's get right into this. Initial reactions. Of course, Brentford 2, Tottenham 2. What are your overall thoughts on the match that was played in front of you?
Overall thoughts, I'd probably say, like, first thing, I thought it was like a one-half game. Like, second half, they were way better. In the first half, they were kind of like asleep. I feel like coming back from World Cup break is tough, but yeah, no Hugo, no Romero. Like, had some keeper issues early. Let up a pretty bad goal in the first half. I mean, it was a good play, but keeper got a hand on it. Probably should have saved it, but I thought it was a way better second half overall. But yeah, it could have been a better result, but a tie at Brentford, not the worst thing. So
No, it isn't. But I think, as you said, I think you're talking about the goals that they let in, just calamitous errors at the same time. Just calamitous errors. And talk to me about that second goal. Eric Dyer, I don't know why he didn't time the ball and clear it in the right direction. Talk me through that second goal.
Yeah, that was kind of brutal. He had time and room, and he just kind of like punted it, and it just went off the side of his foot and out. So that was brutal. And then off a corner, and then they flicked it on to Tony for a sweet goal. I like Ivan Tony a lot, so like it sucks. Like I use him in FIFA all the time. So, but no, yeah, that was a sweet goal for them. Like, it was good off a set piece, which I thought we were gonna get one on a set piece today for sure. But I thought like maybe Kane, or since like we got like a new coach that's like great set pieces. So I heard them saying that. So, but yeah, no. Dyer could have had a better day, but that was a pretty clumsy move there from him.
Yeah, definitely. And I use Ivan Toney on FIFA as well. So you're not the only one. That that 85 rated card is unbelievable. But you're talking about coaches, right? You've seen Antonio Conte now for a little over a year now. We've seen him come in, we've seen him make the changes that we've seen under previous managers, Mauricio Pochettino, Jose Mourinho, Nuno Espirito Santo, even though it was like, 3 months max. I'm not sure if that really counts. But just overall thoughts on Antonio Conte. Just a brief thoughts on what your thoughts are in terms of how well he's done, in terms of direction that he's taken you. Do you think he's the right man going forward?
I like Conte. When he came in, I thought it was good because Nuno wasn't that solid, so I feel like we had to, shake things up, and it worked well. I mean, we made Champions League play, which is huge, but I don't know if he's the right man going forward. But I think right now, like, he's kind of like the best we have. So like people are saying that we need to like sack him. I disagree with that, just because like we don't really have any other options. Like, I don't really know any other managers that could like come in like right away and like kind of like middle of the season. Like, it's like an awkward time for like a new manager. So like, I know there's not like a lot of talk of him like leaving now, but I know like before the World Cup there were people that wanted him to go. And I think he's doing fine. He's got a lot of passion, so I think he's good. I think the 3-4-3 works pretty well. I mean, he obviously said something that inspired them in the halftime speech. So I mean, they played a lot better in the second half. That's normally what they do, but I mean, I like him. I don't know how long he'll be here for, but I hope we can keep him around because I think he does pretty well. So
Yeah, he's definitely known to be that serial winner. Of course, not the best in terms of cup competitions, but he's a serial winner. When given all the backing that he needs, whether Daniel Levy does that or not, and whether Paratici brings in all the right pieces to help piece together a formidable project or not, you still have a great manager at your disposal. But getting more specifically into this particular match, we'll go into the player ratings. For those who have not seen us before, we do our player ratings from 0 to 10. First off, in goal, Fraser Forster. Could have done better on the first goal, but what are your thoughts on it?
I thought, I mean, besides the first goal, I mean, he got a hand on it. It didn't look like he was like ready. I don't know. I mean, as a backup keeper, you're not gonna get that. I mean, it looks like, it's kind of tough to like come out ready, and he wasn't like in World Cup or anything like that, so it might have been like a little cold, I guess. But I mean, he had a couple aerial ball, but he like wasn't handling anything well. So I don't know. I'd probably give him like if Hugo is like a perfect 10, then I'd probably give him like a 6.4. I mean, I don't think he was really tested like that badly,
Yeah,
but
didn't have a
he,
whole lot to do.
yeah. So like, he drew a couple fouls in the air when he would like went up for balls, which was good, but he didn't really have a lot to do besides the first goal, and he kind of squandered that. So yeah, I guess 6.4. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Not great.
Yeah, a 6 is fair. A 6 is fair. When goalkeepers don't have a lot to do, I mean, it's hard to really mark them down, can you? Going into the back three, of course, we'll start with Japhet Tanganga on the right-hand side. Thoughts on this performance today?
I think I wrote something down. Yeah, I thought he was bones. I didn't think he wasn't that good like in the first half. The second half he was actually pretty solid, like like creating like attacking play and like kind of like pushing it up the field a little bit. But in the first half, like first touch, I don't know. I just thought he was a little off. I like just remember like thinking that. So yeah, no, I mean, just for his second half, like a little more like positive. Did he get subbed off or
Yes, he did.
yeah, he got subbed off, but for Sanchez, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, before he got subbed, there was like 70th minute or something. I think we scored like like the first one right before he got subbed off or like after. I don't remember, but I mean, he was solid in the second half for what he played. So probably in like a 7.5, 7.5.
That's fair. Into the middle of that three, of course, Eric Dyer. Thoughts on his performance today? I know we touched on it a bit already, but final thoughts on it before we put it to bed.
Just, I mean, I thought he played well besides the one like kind of crucial mistake that ended up losing us the game. But I mean, I like Dyer. He's like good on set pieces. He gets his head on it a lot. I don't know. I thought he was all right. I mean, besides that one mistake, which he like knows, but I'd probably give him like a 7 out of 10.
Clement Longley on that left-hand side of the three.
I mean, he was solid. I don't remember any big mistakes or any big like moments, but I mean, just him with Perisic on the left, I thought they worked well. So I just Perisic had a great game, I thought. So not to get into him before, but I'd probably give him. I mean, the back line led up 2 against Brentford, so it's like not great, but probably give him 7 out of 10, 7.5, something like that.
And now we will get into Ivan Perisic into that left-hand side. Thoughts on his performance today?
I thought he was great. I mean, he was fantastic in the World Cup, and a lot of people like whoever watched, they like saw Croatia, like he stood out. So he was definitely really good. I mean, I thought he was great today. I thought he was more like he was creating chances. Like he had one play like on the wing where he like megged the dude and came inside and like played a great ball and nobody was there. But I mean, he was great. I'd probably give him like a 9 out of 10, 8.5, something like that.
High praises for Perisic from GP, and now Matt Doherty on the right hand side. Were you upset to see that Emerson Royale was on the bench today?
No. I mean, I think we can leave Emerson on the bench. I think he's got a good spot there. Doherty's got a little dog in him. He's like, he's a flopper though, which I kind of hate. I mean, like, everybody is, but he had a pretty bad flop in the box, which is like, he was giving it to the guy who was like talking back to him. So I don't know. He was all right. He was solid. Him and Kulevsky were solid together. I just thought their link-up play could have been like a little more solid. But so I'd probably give him like a 7.5, 8.
But one thing about Matt Doherty, I mentioned this a lot in my show. He's got the sharpest hairline
Yeah.
of anyone. Just
Mhm.
if we're scoring him on the hairline, it's a solid 10. What
10,
you'd have to
yeah.
say.
Yeah, definitely. He's got that for sure. You got to work on the soccer play.
Into the midfield pivot, and we will start with Bissouma. Got booked in this match. Thoughts on Bissouma, and how have you liked him so far, seeing him in a Tottenham shirt so far?
He's been solid. I think today was all right. I mean, he's more of like he plays like back more. But in the first half we had like trouble getting it to Kane like through him and Hoypier. So like that was kind of tough, but normally we're like better with the link up play between him and like the guys up front. But he was like, I mean, they were pressing in the first half, so I understand like why he wasn't able to get it to Kane. But second half he was better, and I thought he was all right today. He's been good for us in the past. Like he's been a really solid guy in the middle that we can kind of count on. I mean, I'd still take Hoypier over him, but I thought he was solid. I'd probably give him like a 7.5, 8 out of 10.
And now we will go to Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. Another goal for Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. He's been getting on the score sheet quite a few times. Andre has been waxing lyrical since season 1, actually, about Højbjerg. How good was he today?
I thought he was really good. He I was looking at Footbin. He got man of the match, or like I'm pretty sure. He had like 8.7. So my rating's probably gonna be near that. I mean, he played great. He's always like, I feel like he always kind of gets like a scrappy goal like that. Like it was like a deflection. I mean, he wasn't being marked in the middle. So like, I mean, he should score that, but it was a good finish too. I mean, I really like him. Him and Perisic on the left side are great together. So I mean, I thought he was great, and he's been good for us. So yeah, I'd probably stick with the 8.7. I thought that was pretty solid, pretty deserving score for him.
On the right hand side, Dejan Kulusevski, and if you have to sum up Kulusevski in one word, it's creativity. Because when I look at creative outlets, I'm not really seeing a whole lot other than Dejan Kulusevski. I mean, how good was he today? I mean, how many times did he try and put crosses into the box, get shots off on goal, layoffs for shots on goal? I mean, he was superb today. But what would you give Dejan Kulusevski for today?
I definitely put him up there with Højbjerg. I mean, he's a playmaker, so he did solid with like balls into the box, and I just wish we played like a little wider so he had more space to like create and then like get more stuff into the box. But I mean, him on in the first half, he had a great take where he like got baseline, and like he ended up shooting it, but he had, I don't know if it was Bissouma or he had somebody open in the box. He shot it. I thought he was gonna pass it, and it looked like it was a pretty easy, finish. But he's been solid. I mean, he's like a finesse kind of guy, so you can always count on him to do some good things. They said during the game he's gonna get Swedish like Player of the Year tomorrow or something like that. So for him, no, yeah, I'd probably give him like an 8.5. He's solid every game that he plays when he's healthy.
Heung-min Son in on the left-hand side, and just something's just not been right with him. I mean, we saw how good he was last season, right up there with Salah for the Golden Boot, but he just doesn't look like the player that he's looked like in the past. But what would you give him today, and what do you think is wrong with Heung-min Son at the moment?
I don't know. I feel like once we get all of our guys back, maybe it was. I mean, he looked great in the World Cup, so that's why I was like kind of expecting some of the that momentum to come back to today. But yeah, he just had a couple miss hits. I mean, not really miss hits. He just didn't really have a lot of power on his shots. I mean, he's one of my favorite players, so it stinks to see him not in great form. But he he's getting good looks, and I just thought him and Kane's link-up play could have been better. But I mean, yeah, he's definitely in a little bit of a slump right now, Premier League wise. But I mean, hopefully he can bring some of the magic he had in the World Cup and what South Korea did. So hopefully he figures it out. But I feel like once we get some of our guys back and he gets more into training and gets his I figured out like gets the mask off. Maybe that's a bit of the problem. Maybe he's like in a slump. It's like the opposite of like when LeBron wears the mask. Like, he's like not that good. So um meanwhile, like LeBron's sick when he wears it. So maybe that's what it is. I don't really know. I'd probably give Sonny like a 7. He had a couple of looks, but he should have probably put one of those away.
And lastly, Harry Kane up front through the middle got his goal as well. Seems like he's ready to come back and perform for Tottenham, unlike he did for us in the Euros, or not in the Euros, the World Cup. But thoughts on Harry Kane and his goal today? It was a brilliant header, you'd have to say.
Yeah, he's really good in the air. I definitely thought he was gonna get one. I mean, he hit the bar like late. It was like maybe late in the 70s or 80th minute, like early 80s, late 70s. But I mean, he should have had 2, but he played a really good game. I mean, when he comes down and like plays like more like a 9, I think he's great because he can link up with like guys in the middle and then play it out wide, or like, you know, he's he's generational talent. So
100%.
Good to have him on the squad. But yeah, he's 100% on Boxing Day, which is pretty cool. It's cool that he got to keep his tradition of scoring on Boxing Day, which was good to see. But he should have had 2 today. Should have had the game winner. But yeah, no, probably give Kane a 8.5 out of 10.
4 goals off of Sir Jimmy Greaves being Tottenham's all-time leading goal scorer, which would be absolutely incredible. And he will break that. He'll guaranteed score 5 more goals minimum, because that's just who Harry Kane is. He's one of the best strikers in the modern era, you'd have to say, in the Premier League era, 100%. And substitutions: Davinson Sanchez, Ben Davies. Didn't really have enough time. So for those players, we just give them standard 5s. If you don't have enough time, it's hard to really rate them. And lastly, Antonio Conte for this game. Team selection, tactics. What would you give him for today?
I mean, for the first half, I'd probably give him a 5, but I mean, for the whole game, I would definitely. I mean, he definitely switched some things up, like maybe mentally. I mean, it didn't look like we switched our formation or anything like that. It's just like maybe we were playing out more and like pressing a little bit. But I mean, he definitely switched a couple of things up at halftime. But I mean, second half was miles better than the first, so I'd have to give him some credit for that. So probably 7.5. I mean, he can do better, and he definitely knows that. But hopefully he figures it out and better on to the next one.
100%. And there you have it. That is your post-match fan cam, of course, with the man, the myth, the legend himself, GP Grant Pierce. It has been great to hear from him. If you want to hear more from him, let us know in the comments down below. What have you thought? And we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for your time watching this, and let us know in the comments down below, what are your thoughts on the topics that have been in store in this feature of Premier League Primetime in the comments down below. Smash like on the video and subscribe to the channel, and be sure to check out our other platforms on Instagram, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, and wherever you are watching this in the world. We hope you have an absolutely fantastic day / evening.